Hi, welcome to this episode of Author Eke. I'm Travis Davis, your host. Tell us your story. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Author Eke. I have Jeff Berney from Kansas City, Missouri. Don't hate him because he's probably a Chiefs fan. Uh, and today we're going to have a conversation around his book, how he wrote it, why did he write it, introduce himself, what's next on the agenda, and we'll just kind of have a free flow conversation, author to author and author to y'all. So go ahead, Jeff, please take it away.
All right. Hey, thanks for having me on. Yeah, like you said, I'm Jeff Berney, in Kansas City. I never understood why I hated Tom Brady until people started hating on Patrick Mahomes, and now I get it. But I wouldn't have it any other way. Um, so yeah, I am an independent, otherwise known as self-published author. I've written two thrillers. My latest one is The Fall of Faith.
Nice.
Um, it's I don't write. I mean, I'm in the thriller genre, so obviously I don't like happy endings. But um, I don't write. I guess my books are gritty and kind of dark and twisted. This one is about um, it's about lust and love and faith, and the consequences of doing whatever it takes to survive.
Okay.
The main character his name is Jimmy. He's a trucker. He's on his last run. Really has nothing to go home to, and he kind of grapples with the question of faith and what you would do to believe in something bigger than yourself when his truck breaks down in a small town called Eden, Missouri, which is a fictional town, and he quickly realizes that this isolated little town is nothing like its biblical namesake.
Mm-hmm.
It's really more of a hell on earth. He interacts with a lot of colorful and oftentimes crazy townsfolk, and soon finds himself falling in love with a local woman, while danger kind of closes in on him from every angle. So, as you read, hopefully you're thinking, will he find love? Will he make it out of Eden alive? Will he lose his faith in himself and everything he has believed in? And hopefully there'll be some twists and things you didn't see coming along the way.
Awesome. Awesome. So is this so are your books like a series? Are they totally independent? How would somebody want to read those?
So far, they're independent. My first book was A Killer Secret, and it's a psychological thriller um, about a female psychologist. She's kind of the main character.
Mm-hmm.
She's really kind of questioning her her place in life, whether or not she's good at her job. She's in a weird relationship with a guy that she barely calls her boyfriend, but realizes he must be. He's much older, used to be her college professor. Now he's her business partner. And she really doesn't know where that relationship's going. She doesn't know where her life's going, whether or not she's helping her patients. And
Mm-hmm.
then one day, one of her patients comes in and tells her that he's a serial killer and he's actively searching for his next victim. And that book is kind of about um, the secrets that we all have,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of going to the extreme of what kind of secret might be worth killing to keep. And so as the story unfolds, all their lives kind of intertwine and all of their secrets kind of slowly seep out.
Okay.
My next book that I'm working on now is a sequel to that first book, but The Fall of Faith is kind of a standalone.
Okay. So when did you start writing, or when did you think I want to write, or did it just like me, it was like epiphany? I have an idea. Now that I'm gonna write about it, you just start jotting it down.
I've always wanted to write. I in my daytime career
Mm-hmm.
that that funds my author career.
Right.
I'm a copywriter and a creative director in the advertising industry. So I do, I feel lucky that I get to write for a living, but I have always wanted to write a novel. And
Mm-hmm.
so, my original goal was to write a novel before I was 40. that kind of happened, but I didn't publish that one. Um, and so I just, for me, writing every day for clients is great, but I wanted something that had more of that creative outlet, that longer
Yeah.
form, that something was for me.
Did you did you tell folks you were going to write a book, and then you said, "Oh, now I have to write it," or did you kind of hold it close to your chest? I told folks I was going to write a book, so I had to finish it. That's that sort of thing.
Yeah. I announced my writing a novel before I'm 40 goal, which came back to bite me. I mean, like I said, I did write that book. It's
Right.
shelved.
Uh-huh.
But then after that, I kind of got stage fright. I thought, oh, this maybe I can't do this very well. I didn't like my first book.
Mhm.
Maybe it's not something I should do. So it took me a couple of years before I started again, and I did not tell people at that point
Okay.
that I was trying again.
So, I mean, what have you found the most difficult part of the whole book thing? Not just the writing, but the advertising. To me, getting your name out. I mean, there's I don't know how many books a week are published by Amazon. There's got to be in the hundreds,
Oh yeah.
maybe more. I don't know. So I think that's me. That's my difficulty. I didn't know anything about writing or publishing or book business, and that's why I started the podcast. I said, well, if I want to know the business, I should talk to people that are sort of in the business and maybe relatively new at it, because you get to that perspective. So how do you go about your marketing, and how else do you try to get your name out?
Yeah, definitely the marketing is the hardest piece. And I have a marketing background and I'd still have trouble. Because like you said, yeah, the marketplace is flooded with
Mhm.
books. How do you stand out? I've dabbled in advertising on Amazon
Mhm.
with mixed results. I'm still
Right.
feel like I'm learning that. I did decide that I wanted to kind of be as small as possible in terms of the number of social media uh,
Yes.
platforms that I'm on. I just figured if I do too many, I'm just not going to be able to do
Right.
anything. So
Exactly.
I'm on Instagram. Has been my main one since I started. I just this is how awful my timing is. I just got onto TikTok now that there's talk of possibly
Banning
banning it.
it. So what's your how do we get a hold of you on like Instagram and TikTok and stuff?
I am Jeff Berney, author, on both. So easy to find me. I
Okay.
do have a website, jeffberney.com, and I have also just started playing around with selling my books directly from my website too.
Yeah.
Trying to bypass, I publish wide,
Mhm.
um, but if you look at in my sales, I don't know how yours are. 99% of them are still Amazon, even though I'm
Yes.
everywhere.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, I did like Adam Book Baby, right? They've got some pretty good plans. I think the tough part are keywords, right? Or what
Yeah,
genre do you what do you want to put your book to be able to, if I'm in military thrillers, I need to sell 250 a day to be in the top 10. If I'm in thrillers, whatever, something different, then I have to sell 10 a day, right? So you need to
yeah,
find out where you can play, and you can put them in multiple places, which people I don't think know. You can put in multiple genres. But I think that
yeah.
is that's something to learn. And I do Twitter and stuff, and Facebook, and LinkedIn, and Instagram. But I'm like, I'm decent probably with Twitter and stuff, but Instagram, I'm like a reel. And I
Yeah.
have a technology background for the last 25 years, so I get technology. I'm like,
Oh yeah, but it's always changing, man.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's hard to keep up. I I just figure, I'm along for the ride. I try to follow authors and see what other authors and see what
Mhm.
they're doing, and if something makes sense or seems really cool, I'll try it. And
Yeah,
I think it's for me, marketing a book is kind of my philosophy is like fail fast forward, right? Like
yeah,
try something and then if it doesn't work, switch and try something else and just keep
yeah. You got to
going.
move on. Yeah, what? when it's going to hit that audience, because I mean, everybody likes a good thriller. I mean, because you're not going to go away, smiling.
Right.
Oh man, that's too bad.
Yeah, and I have a tendency to kill my characters off, so it's
That's
not
tough. I
there's
find that
no
tough.
Hollywood endings. Yeah.
I find that tough. I just about to release my second book in May 9th,
Oh,
and
great.
I said, man, it makes me feel bad if I do this. So I'm not gonna say if I did it or not, but
Right. Well, it makes it hard to do a series too.
I know.
I'm going back to my first book, and I'm like, geez, who survived?
But you only can have so many people. I mean, you
Right.
can't have a stadium of people you're trying to write a book. Is like, how many characters are there? So yeah, I mean, I get that. I mean, I didn't. I mean, March 2nd last year, I was like, I have an idea for a book, and I read it from a buddy of mine. I've known it from the Army for 30 years. Well, that's a good premise. So I sat down and started writing it, and I'm thinking, man, not a bad deal. I got a computer. This is not going to cost me anything. That is the biggest misconception
Oh
somebody
God,
could
yeah.
possibly have, that writing a book is going to cost $0.
Yeah. I mean, you could bootstrap a lot of things,
Oh
but
yeah,
there's still an investment involved. Absolutely.
definitely, and self-publish or hybrid or traditional. Typically traditionals, they want to see something that you've written already. You got to get an agent, and
Yeah.
whatever, and bow down to them. So I find that I haven't even entertained that aspect of it. I do have a publisher though, but
I haven't either. I purposely went in thinking I want to be an independent author.
Mhm.
I've started and ran my own ad agency at one point, and I kind of have that entrepreneurial spirit, and like,
Right,
I can learn as I go. And the more you look at the state of publishing these days anyway, if you don't already have an audience, or a big name, then I mean, I'm not sure what the upside is other than seeing your book in a bookstore, which would be cool, but is it going
exactly.
to give me more money?
Yeah, and there's a way to get all that in there.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you know that, but there's a program that you can, for book signings at Kroger.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I can send you the information, but it's pretty cool. I mean, they give you a list of Kroger's or a couple other stores, in the Midwest and South, and just book a date, go out there, put a table up, sell your books, and they barcode it, so you don't have to do anything. They do checkout, and you just get a check.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you sell 10 books, you sell 10 books in a day, or like 3 or 4, not like 3 or 4 hours, and you're like, I couldn't do that in a bookstore.
No, no.
If I wasn't there promoting it,
Right. Yeah.
right? So I'll send you the info. It's pretty good, and the guy's really cool. A guy named Ray.
Cool. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I found, and I only found that out because I talked to another author on the podcast. Because I saw people at Kroger all the time signing books. They were, how do I do that? So I got on to Kroger. They were like, what? So
Yeah.
it was convoluted way to do it, but I got to the end of the journey, and after done some book signings, and the Kroger folks are cool about it. They're real nice and set up in nice places and put table and whatever. But
Yeah.
it's good. And then you have to think of other ways, like the competitions, or these indie bookstores,
Hmm.
trying to get in there and try to see what it's like to be able to
Yeah.
just get familiarity with people, to get visibility into your book.
Yeah. I've started to get a little bit better at that my second go around. When I think it was the end of 2019 is when I published my first book. And like I said, I didn't know anybody in the business. I didn't know what I was doing. And now I feel like, I've met a bunch of authors. I've met with some independent
Yeah,
bookstores. I've talked to libraries in the area. And so I've
that's a good
been,
one. Libraries are great. That's a good
yeah,
point.
yeah. And some of them, in Kansas City market, one of our biggest libraries every year has an independent author
Mhm.
fair, which I've been involved in the last couple of years. And so, yeah, those on-site, in-person events are really amazing. And, for an author, kind of boost your confidence, oh, I just sold 5 books.
Yes,
I haven't
somebody
done that
wants
in a
to
month.
read what I wrote. I got to get my teachers to read my
Yeah.
papers.
They want my
Otherwise,
autograph. I feel like that'll devalue their book, but okay.
exactly. It's interesting to get the book out there and get people's take on it. And but if you write a book, be ready for the reviews.
Oh yes, oh yeah. You
Don't make it
know,
personal.
I've my first book, like I said, it's my first book is pretty twisted. Although I feel like my second one is probably more so. But I got a few did not finish, or 1-star reviews, and I feel like those are just people who aren't my market, right? That
Exactly.
my book isn't their cup of tea, and that's okay.
Exactly. What? So talking to publishers. I said I don't know how to self-publish because I don't know anything about it. So I found a publisher here in Dallas or in Houston on the internet, and I'm like, I believe everything I see on the internet. I mean, there's nothing fake on the internet. It's got to be all
Never.
true. I
Yeah.
mean, everything. I mean, come on. I know there's Martians. So I called them. So I set up a meeting to go talk to them in person. And lo and behold, great folks.
Oh, excellent. That's awesome.
Yeah, I said, I was in Houston doing some work. I'll drive up, or drive down, and I'll see y'all. Met the owner of the company, great folks. Got along really well, and yeah, get up. Well, I'm gonna have a disclosure, everybody. Everything on the internet is not real or truth. So there's some
So are you
nefarious folks out there.
so are you a hybrid author then, or
Yeah, yeah,
that's awesome?
yeah. I mean, I got skin in the game. They got skin in the game.
Yeah.
But I found it to be a rather pleasant journey. The feedback all through the process has been good. So with them on the second book too. The third book, I've got so many ideas that I want to do. I'm trying to put them in order because I'll from a serious perspective, or do I want to write something different?
Yeah.
Just to break the imaginative creative juices up a little bit, right? Because I have a hell of an imagination. My wife, I talked to my wife and tell her about the book. She goes, "How do you come up with this stuff?" I go, "I don't know." Did you have a thought?
Yeah.
You just run the thought to the end.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I
Right.
mean, I'll see like I'll get ideas from news articles and things,
Yes.
but twist them even more and say, okay, what would happen if this happened instead? And yeah, I've got a huge list of, these are, this would be a good story. And I don't think I'll have time in 2 lifetimes to,
I know there's so
write
much.
all those ideas.
And I have to tell folks that the books are fiction.
I've had to tell my parents that, they're like,
so what do you do, son? So
you're,
I can see behind you that you are a connoisseur of fine beverages.
that happened during the pandemic. I honestly had never been a whiskey guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I've got nothing to do. I'm stuck here at home with our 4 kids, so I need something.
I need to drink. Couldn't
So,
get the kids liquor, so you might as well
right,
do it.
but well, and I also figured, if I've got a bunch of whiskey, I don't have to worry about the kids getting into it because they're not going to like it.
That's right. Exactly. Who does? As a kid, I didn't like it. My godson in Germany, my wife's our cousin, my cousin, not my wife. I'd be from Arkansas, and I'm even from Arkansas. I said our cousin, but my nephew actually. So he distributes whiskey from out of his house, but not like whiskey, the run of the mill. There's actual island in Scotland that produces a whiskey, and he has something with him that he gets some of their stock. He's got whiskey that will run $45,000 a bottle.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? The
know.
whiskey
You can't
market is
drink
just
it.
like blown up. Yeah.
I know.
Why would you? That's
like, oh, wow, that tastes like, yeah. So, yeah, so he did that. He started his own business. I'm pretty proud of him on that. But
that's great. Yeah. Man, I would love that.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. But yeah, so great. So show us a picture of your book again. Where can we get your book?
So yeah, latest one, Fall of Faith, and A Killer Secret. You can get it jeffberney.com. That'll send you out to all the majors, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Apple, Google, Kobo, plus some smaller ones. And you can also buy it. You can buy the ebook, paperback, and hardback directly from my site if you like, and you can also buy autographed copies. Like I said, if you want to devalue your book.
Yeah, I'm like, I scribble. So great. No, it's fantastic meeting you and talking to you. And some, you know, I mean, I like a good thriller. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it's my favorite genre to read, and as a reader, I'm always trying to figure out the story, and so that's kind of my challenge when I'm writing it. How can I fool someone like me who's always trying to, thinks they know the ending? So
yeah, so folks, go out there, pick it up, and please leave a review for them. I mean, that's important.
oh yes,
Whatever, but it's very important to have those reviews because that's how Amazon does a lot of their analytics and stacking and rankings and whatever in the little, they open their kimono up sometimes, but not very often.
not very often at all.
Not very. Well, great, Jeff. I appreciate it, and man, it's been fantastic, and look forward to talking to you again, and when your other book's released.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's good to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Author Eke. There'll be another episode next week. Please stop by and start your own story. We can't wait to hear it.